This is going to show you solo GM of EXCISION, or in other words, Solo the Witness on the 12-man mission mode. I'm C91, the Prince of All Saiyans, and true internet hero of D2. This is a -30 delta. It's a 12-man mission, and obviously we're explaining I sold it. Make sure that you hit subscribe. You can just smell those new subs, bro. They smell like a fresh pair of new trainers. You're going to need an ally in Renegades. You're going to need somebody to be depended. You're going to need somebody dependable in Renegades. If you haven't subscribed, you need to. I whipped out Kaioken ×2 for this one. Alright, so -30 delta. It's got contest, join in progress disabled, extra champs, extra shields. Extinguish. So you have to solo flawless this. If you are soloing it, it needs to be solo flawless. Revives don't matter because you've got to solo flawless it, unless you go to orbit on death. There was actually Surges, Arc Surge and Stasis Surge, which I didn't play into too much. Bit of Stasis Surge for sure. Why do you want to do this? Oh, well, dude, I might get some Ascendant Shards. I might get that final Ergo Sum that I've been waiting on for 18 months. Maybe I'll finally get my perfect Ergo Sum. Who knows? So I'm not going to give you dim links for this. I'm just explaining to you what I used. When we are in endgame content, the men are separated from the boys and you use adult builds. Whilst a lot of you are rocking getaway artists and other buddy builds, when we're up against endgame tormentors and such, Rhymecoat Rhymant wins for me. Even though it's maybe not the buddy build that you would expect, it's the one that you definitely want to use when you're up against tormentors at -30 and such. So Rhymecoat Rhymant, yeah, we're using an adult Warlock build, I'm not going through all of it. I am using Heart Shadow. Those players who thought Heart Shadow was bad, hang your head in shame. You should know what Heart Shadow does in the game. It's incredibly powerful. And if you don't think that after today, I don't know what would ever persuade you to think that Heart Shadow is not powerful. It is extremely powerful. I used weapons like Mint Retrograde, Ahab Char, Wyvern Gaze Primary, Void Primary that is. Other things that I used. We ran Sleeper for a bit of damage. We ran Lord Fellwinter for 30% debuff on melee hits. We ran a bit of Outbreak Perfected. We ran a bit of Supremacy. Plus Heart Shadow combo for the final boss on Tormentors. Yeah, we've done a lot of different things in this. So that's just explaining. Like I say, I'm not giving you dim links. Let's just get on with the run. The run's going to be a very long video anyways. Okay, so here is that Solo GM EXCISION, aka Solo the Witness, the 12-man mission mode, not the raid variant. So, as I said at the start of the video, we're using Heart Shadow. I'm rocking Rhymecoat Rhymant and Mint Retrograde. So, we've got to capture 4 territories. I have a strat for this. So, I'm going to go in with a Transcendence right away with Mint Retrograde, and we're going to melt down this Minotaur as soon as possible. That's a priority. Then we're going to get on this plate and start capping it. We're going to capture it as comfortable as we can. Once we get weak, we're going to step off. Then go invis right here. Then what I'm going to do is continue to capture this plate while my Bleak Watcher nade is still up with Rhymecoat Rhymant. And we're going to use the invisibility from Heart Shadow. Now, what you must understand, and this is a fundamental rule about invisibility, no matter what invisibility that we are talking about in the game, whether it be Night Stalker invis, Heart Shadow invis, or any void fragments that give you invis, it's all the same in terms of this one true fact. Ads will target your last known location, which means you cannot invis in the same spot over and over, you will wipe. So you need to spread out your invisibilities. Even if it's 3-4 meters, you still do it. Now I go to right side plate and capture the right side plate. I need to get rid of the VIP though. The ads for each plate will despawn for that corresponding plate. So there's a Tormentor associated to the plate. There's Overlord Champions and Knights and Centurions and all this. But look, he's right on me, that Tormentor. So I've got to manage my gameplay. It's not just a case of invis and it's free. No, it's not. You've got to manage where you go invis, how you go invis, where's your meterage, Where is the Tormentor? Are you getting hit by darkness walls? How much time have you got left on invisibility? So all of that comes into play. And you can't waste too much heavy in either. You've got a lot more plates to capture than this. So you've got to play that fine game of between surviving and invisibility and spreading it out. Like I'm going invis behind this rock. Yeah, I'm using this rock as a point of reference, and I'm circling around that rock. Look, unstops don't know where I am. I get weak here, see? You can indirectly get weak from darkness walls. Don't let that Tormentor debuff you, because then you are wiped. Then you can't go invis. Tormentors debuff. They debuff attack you. Now, I've got a Song of Flame to use, so I'm going to use it. The reason why is because I know that this VIP, this middle wizard, is very tanky. We need to kill the VIP wizard in order to have access to the plate. I've got a Song of Flame on cooldown. I use it for this. Better to use it for this. I can capture the plate on left at any point. I've got enough heavy for it. Yeah, but we are multitasking for the next phase. That's essentially what I'm doing. A stasis turret helps out as well because it freezes that Tormentor. Allows me to cap the plate a bit more consistent. We can also lure the Tormentor away from the plate, as so. See? We can do a lot of that. We can use point of reference like a rock, some other rock, and just circle around that rock and keep capping the plate. There we go. Plate is capped. I'm low on heavy, but look at heavy ammo count. I'm due to get another brick. I've got Void Scav on to make sure that I get more Heart Shadow ammo. Overload pushes. Now, what you've got to understand with these plates is that there's unlimited VIPs and ads associated with each plate until it's capped. In other words, there's unlimited overloads, there's unlimited captains, there's unlimited, basically, dread enemies. So we're here until we kill that VIP, which that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to pop a Transcendence here, which I can do that. I can get Transcendence back very quickly as well. With my build and off the Scions, they immediately give me it back. So yeah, I've got a debuff in middle. Remember, I've got Faceted Dominance on. Faceted Dominance provides debuff on Void Grenades. Your Transcendence gameplay is a Void Grenade, Warlocks. A lot of Warlocks throw. A lot of Warlocks are losing debuffs. What you're going to understand with D2 is endgame. Now, you can call this an endgame piece of content, can't you? It's solo Grandmaster Witness, 12-man mode, being done solo. Can we agree with that or not? Or are you going to disagree with that one as well? So, what I'm explaining to you is, I'm using an adult build in this with adult things. As in, we're thinking, right, we need the best of the best in this one. Now, this auto rifle's failing me a little bit. It's failing me because I'm playing too far. I'm going to pop on the Wyvern Gaze Scout. See, debuffs and buffs are king in Destiny 2. Radiant, Wyvern Gaze, Tractor Cannon. Lord Fellwinter with debuff. Tether. All these debuff sources, global debuffs, they're called. They have to be considered for endgame builds when we're really talking endgame. Now, a lot of Warlock mains approaching this challenge would probably go Getaway Heists because of buddy builds, but that would have been wrong. Now, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to tell me why Getaway Heists would be the wrong build for this. You got 5 seconds. That's right, yeah, because it's not an adult build. We need to spec for Tormentors. Tormentor, we need a build for Tormentors because there's Tormentors. Getaway Heists has its place in the game and it's very good on ad clear, but we're not worried about ad clear, are we? We're worried about single target damage. I always favour single target damage builds over ad clear builds. I always do. Because there's never a time in the game where if you don't have a exclusive ad clear build on, then you wipe. Whereas if you don't have single target damage on in your build, you might wipe. Do you understand it? And when we talk about single target damage, we're talking about difficult VIPs, being difficult Tormentors, difficult Wizards, tanky Ultra Bars, Champions. Yeah? Single target damage builds are overwhelmingly more powerful than a bog standard ad clear build. Getaway Artist is fantastic in the game, but you can't place your stasis turret, can you? Think about it. Can you manually place a stasis turret on getaway heists? You can't. It goes at your location. With rhyme codes, that's not the case, and it's an enhanced turret. We need enhanced turret. So I'm going in V's, I keep going in V's, capping this plate. I'm paying attention to the tormentor. I'm paying attention to the ads. Look, I get weak. It's no joke. It's no joke in this. We get hit very hard. Fast protection there, Procken. DR. This plate's about capped, so I don't want to risk it too much. There we go, it's capped. Tormentor ads will despawn, and now we're on to the final plate of the starting section. Okay, I'm lacking a little special. I think there's some special round here. There might be, or there isn't. There probably is somewhere. I should have went and looked for special. So now what I need to do is kill the final tormentor. The subjugators know. They will keep spawning. The more you kill, the more you get. So we could be here all day trying to kill subjugators. We just need to kill the tormentor himself. So I'm using Wyvern Gaze primary. I'm using Mint Renegade here. I'm using my Transcendence gameplay, look. Tormentor is now broken, so he can push. I will pay attention to his AI, though, every time. And we're just going to keep debuffing him. This is why we've got Facet Dominance on. Like I say, a lot of Warlocks, they're not using it. If there's any piece of information to take away from this video is you should be running Faceted Dominance no matter what build. Don't care about it. I don't care what your build is. If you're on Prismatic Warlock, yeah, you run Faceted Dominance. I don't want to ever see you not run it. Never ever. I don't care. Even if you've got Tractor Cannon on, even if you're using Dragon, you don't use it. No, Faceted Dominance. It goes on. It goes on. It's obvious. I'm just here to tell you that it's obvious. You're lucky that you've got someone telling you that it's obvious, because no one else will tell you. I've got to get you sorted I've got to get you sorted and corrected for renegades and get yourself into the mind game your end game mindset. We finally got there in the end. Yeah, it's all mindset. It's all mindset. It's not builds, it's mindset. Another Transcendence goes in debuff. Right, we've got the Scout obviously as well for extra debuff as well. So when my Transcendence does go, I've got extra debuff with Wyvern Gaze. So we're just we're refreshing debuff timer. Yeah, global debuff, 15% weakening. We're refreshing it with Wyvern Gaze. So people say, well, does debuff stack? No, they don't. No, they don't. But a debuff is a debuff. You're weakening enemies. It's one of the most useful tools in the game that we have. So why wouldn't you use that? Probably chances are because you lack knowledge with it. I don't need debuff. I want this on. I want to use Getaway Heists. I want to use Geomags. Well, you need debuff. And when you get your next dungeon in Renegades, it's the same thing. It's going to come down. History repeats itself. Every new dungeon that comes out, or raid, but I'm talking more dungeon here because we're talking solo gameplay. Every time a new dungeon comes out, a week or two before it, people ask me the same questions. What build should I run? What build should I be running on all three characters? And it comes down to the next questions. Surges, lads. You need surges and you need debuffs, and you need to have a good idea of what the meta is. That's really your answer condensed. If you have an idea of all of that, you will already know what to run. You will already know what build you should be running for the new dungeon. But there is environmental design that we need to consider. We are at the mercy of Bungie until we know what the new dungeon boss looks like or plays like. If it's crit damage, it's crit damage. If it's explosive damage we need, then it's Grand Overture. Yeah? And you go on and on and on. Is it total damage or burst damage we need? But if you know expansively the entire meta, you will quickly establish what you need at a drop of a hat. If I see a new boss, you show me a new boss. Obviously we can't. But if Bungie showed me a new boss, I would be able to work out the meta for that boss within 30 seconds. Because I'll be like, right, let me see what he looks like and what's the damage rotation like on him. Is it a longer one? Is there a lot of combatant difficulty with him? Does he push you a lot? Is there a lot of AoE with him? As soon as I were to see that damage phase, I would know instantly what weapon to gravitate to. And that's what I want you to start doing. But it's taken its time. It's very difficult. taking its time to get it into people's minds on mindset. But we're getting there, I suppose, over time. So yeah, I keep turret in middle. I need to cap this plate. There's infinite subjugators on this bit. And even if there wasn't, you would be wasting time trying to kill them. So we're just going to keep going invis like this. Keep getting turrets in middle. Keep going invis. Look at this adult build. Look at this adult build working. Yeah? And we keep freezing those subjugators, making it more consistent. Now, like I've said about the invisibility location thing, if we keep invising on that plate on the exact same spot, we will wipe. You will wipe. Especially if the stasis subjugator does a stasis super, you're wiped. You will wipe at that. So we need to sort of oscillate and manage. But it is looking a little bit less threatening now. They've backed off a bit. Look, stasis super. Stasis super, that's what we need to avoid, that one. Because even if we're invis, we'll still die to the shatter damage if we're close to too many stasis crystals. But look at my sword ammo. I've got enough sword ammo to cap this plate. We're done. 2-3 more invises, I'm done. But yeah, look, I'm using a point of reference. I'm using a pillar or a rock or something like that, because then the ads will keep shooting the rock rather than me. Makes it consistent to cap these plates. So that's the capture point done. I don't need to worry about ammo at all because, well, we're up against the final boss now. That being the witness in this case, this is in for the long haul. I'm going to switch to my Tormentor setup. So we're getting even deeper into Tormentor build now. Yeah, so not only are we using Rhymecone, we're using a sniper, but we're sticking with Hard Shadow for the run, for this bit. Because we have an opportunity at this fight to use any weapons we want. Because you get a heavy ammo brick that spawns in middle. You basically have infinite ammo in this, right? But that also means we have infinite invis and infinite sword ammo, which makes the run consistent. Now, I could go Izanagi's Burden. I could go Cloud Strike. I could go Microcosm. I could go Slipper Simon. I could go Whisper of the Worm. I could go... Think of any other weapon that I could go. Any crit weapon you can think of. I can do any of them. But the problem is we need to stay alive. And I thought at the time of the run, I was like, well, I could go more defensive and speed this up and use these Izanagis and run the risk of death, but do it quicker. Or I can rely on special weapon damage. That being, in this case, Supremacy, a kinetic tremor sniper. And go invis for survivability at all times. And that's what I've chose. The side effect to that is, though, that the run's longer. It ends up being longer, but it's entertaining for a run. We get Overlords pushing us. Saint 14's bubble is OP in this. Yeah, it's OP. And to mention, Saint 14 got a buff. Now, we're going to get a D2 librarian to work this out when it was. When did Bungie buff damage resist for overshields? When did they buff it? It was in the last 9 months. Let's get a D2 librarian, get your D2 books out. What date was it? When was it? I don't know. But whenever that was, you need to understand that when I'm wandering outside of this guy's bubble, I get more DR because he's giving me an overshield because overshield's got buffed. What date was it? We want dates. We want date, time, and number. I can't give you. I'm soloing the witness. You want me to solo the witness and look at D2 books on patch notes? No way. There's no way you're making me look at patch notes right now. You look at them. You look at them because I'm giving you something else. Can't do everything. But we need to play very cautiously with these bees. The threats are the bees, absolutely, because it's a death zone. As soon as we step out of that bubble, yes, we've got the DR. There is still chance of wipe. There is still chance of wipe, so we have to be careful. So there's Tormentor left and right. I'm doing a good job on the right side, Tormentor for now. Yeah, but when I do break that shoulder pad off, and he goes into enrage mode, we are at the mercy of him a little bit. He ends up pushing me as well. Let's just watch how this plays. So I'm standing in the bubble thinking that this would be the strat, and it's just not the strat at all. Because he keeps coming into the bubble. I'm staying alive. Look at Saint 14's bubble. He's protecting me against this troublesome cornerstone. Tormentor. He's unruly. So I go invis to try and de-aggro. I need to de-aggro him. He's aggroed. I need to de-aggro him. So I'm thinking, how can I do that? Because he's still aggroed, look. He's still aggroed. So I'm looking to try and go invis, and I'm like, I've still not de-aggroed him. Yeah, I've got overshield, yeah, but I cannot go invis when suppressed. I pop a transcendence here. I'm thinking, should I sword him in the bubble? Is that worth it? Probably not. Because if he grabs me at a certain point when the bees come, it's over. In the bubble, I can stay alive. But if he grabs me in the awkward location, so I'm like, yeah, this is not the strat at all. So I'm thinking, right, what can I do here? I'm thinking on the run. So I get a nice invis there, and I'm looking to try and go at the opposite side of the map. Watch what happens when we make this small change. Look at the de-aggro. Do you see it? Do you see it? See that de-aggro? That's the de-aggro technique. If there's any time to show you a technique of de-aggro, it's right there at 21 minutes and 4 seconds. There you go. Other people would make a shorts about that and say, how'd you de-aggro a tormentor? Well, it's nestled in my videos. I play that fine line of, I'll show you techniques, but man, you've got to work a little bit for it and watch the video. I'm not going to show you all my secrets and all videos and shorts. Here, you can do this, look. No. You'll have to watch the video, and my secrets are nestled within the video. Right? That promotes interactivity for my channel. So there's something in it for you to watch the video, even in its entirety. Even if the video is long, there's always something worthwhile to think about for you. We don't do content like everybody else. We're doing it different because I want to do it differently. You've got to be a man of morals. You've got to be authentic. I'm remaining to be authentic no matter what sub count I'm on. Whether I'm on 200,000 subs, 50k subs, or 80k subs, everything will still stay the same how we deliver content. And we will never go for cheap. We'll never go for YT shorts. It's too cheap. It's too cheap of content. Okay, left hand side, subjugator now, tormentor should I say. So at the time of the run I was like, well, hopefully that tormentor pushes right, like what's going on? Because I haven't seen him one time yet. So I'm realising on the run, he ain't pushing. He's complete, this goes back to what we were saying before. He's de-aggroed, but this is so far the other way, it's harder now. See, it's one thing to have an ad extremely aggroed on your location, but it's also another thing to have an ad completely de-aggroed where you don't see them. And if you don't see them, you're stuck in an infinite time loop before you kill them, because we have to kill that tormentor to proceed. So I'm thinking at this now, I'm looking at the engagement, I'm looking at what's happening. There's snipers all over the place, yeah? The tormentor keeps hiding, so I'm thinking right now, is there somewhere to stand or position myself? Look, he shows himself. But look at that, he starts to de-aggro right away. Look at that. He shows himself and then de-aggros. So I'm like, what can I do here? I'm sort of stuck in an infinite time paradox. What can I do? Where can I stand? Oh, I can stand back left a little bit. So I start to see that. But also, I'm aware as soon as I see that tormentor, he's going to do his void attack, which gets me weak. So I could be cleaned up by those snipers, see what we're saying here. So, and the ads are infinite. It's not like you can just clean the ads and then it's just you and the subjugator or tormentor or whatever. It doesn't work like that either. So I get a moment of opportunity for snipe here. This was the way to go, by the way. I mean, if I went with these Anagis, I wouldn't have invis. I'm on Warlock. Yeah? So for one time in the game, pure Night Stalker would be very strong for this one, because I could run his Anagis and still go invis with Graviton. So it's got a purpose in the game, Solar Witness. That's its purpose. Because yeah, I could run, rather than run Supremacy, I could run his Anagis and maybe even some heavier linears and stuff. Whereas now, I am stuck to just special weapon damage, which isn't too bad of a thing, because Supremacy is hitting hard, by the way. It is hitting extremely hard. But I didn't want to do a Hunter run because I was midway through this challenge doing it on Warlock, and I didn't feel like swapping to Hunter to then start doing it on Hunter. I was like, well, no, I've already committed to a Warlock run on this. Even though I got to this point, I was like, yeah, Hunter would be overwhelmingly better than the Warlock for this run. But I was like, no, we'll just finish the run up, right? We'll just finish it up. Makes for an entertaining video anyways. So, yeah, Cornerstone's pushed a little bit again, and then he de-aggroes again. We're going to go invis. I cannot stay in one place for too long because of the bees, because of the foul shape stuff. Look, on your location all the time. That does area effect damage against you. You've got to be extremely careful. Okay, I'm checking to see if this subject gets pushing. I see an angle. Look at that. Right side shoulder pad. Good damage with supremacy for that. Overload pushes. Overload has respawned. At the time of this run, I honestly didn't have a clue on ad spawns. Like, I didn't know exact. Like, when I say I didn't have a clue, what I mean is, well, when does the next set of overloads spawn? Exactly. Like, is it 50% HP? Is it half HP of the Tormentor? Is it time-based? Didn't know. I know that the will respawn, but when do they respawn, you know? Because that's a bit of a difference on runs. It's one thing to say, oh, well, overloads will respawn, but when? When exactly? Then you can be more deterministic on your combat. Not knowing that information can affect runs on multitude of different activities. That's why I always study a run on anything, generally. But obviously with this, we haven't fully studied it. I guess the next set of overloads spawn based on the percentage of the Tormentor at a guess. The health bill of the Tormentor. Once you get in weak again, another set of overloads spawning. That's basically what's happening there. At a best guess. Okay, a lot of bees on my location. Overload. I'm wanting to get rid of this overload. He's really messing my day up. So left side overload, we've got to get rid of him. Because every time I push, he's messing up my DPS against Tormentor. Okay, we're going to always go invis as well on exit of bubble. I'm checking. He's not there. My God, I'm stuck in a paradox here with this Tormentor. Why is he not pushing? Look, he keeps teleporting as well. Did you see the teleport mechanic? He does it again later. I'll point it out. Keeps TPing. But I'm noticing there's a good opportunity on left here. There we go. There he is. So the left Tormentor is a lot more difficult than the right one for different reasons. Because he keeps hiding. Whereas the right side Tormentor barely hit at all. If anything, he kept pushing me. So right side Tormentor is free. The left-hand side Tormentor will ruin your day. It ruined my day a little bit. That's fine. We keep going with it. So I get some good DPS here against his Tormentor. Yeah, we're doing some nice... Now I'm starting to understand, okay, that is your best location. I've tried random trees. I've tried pushing up further. I've tried popping transcendencies. And none of it was super effective. But that location is pretty good. So I'm starting to realise, okay, that's where I should be standing there for damage. Mainly right here. Where, to the point where we're not too... Although he has de-aggroed there. But that is more unluck than anything else. See, if anything like that happens where he de-aggroes, we've got to re-invis up and reallocate my positioning. Look, I get weak there. Weaker than what I would like. That's just by a second or two. You know, rewind the clock 2 seconds, we're looking fine. Yeah? So 2 seconds of gameplay can change the dynamic of how you feel in that moment. Just by doing that. That's why I was very cautious on this phase. I'm going to get a stasis turret up. Look, he TPs. Why is he TPing there? See, what's meant to happen with Tormentors when they teleport like that is, I'm going to tell you the mechanic behind it. When a Tormentor teleports, it's because they got stuck. It is a failsafe for soft locking a Tormentor in D2. Bungie has designed it that way. I know this because whenever you knock a Tormentor off the map, they teleport like that with that animation. That's what it's designed for. Do you understand? It's to avoid soft locking the Tormentor. However, Tormentors are randomly using it when they don't need to. That's bug. That's not... They're not an overload champion, so why are they TPing? There's no need. They're doing it because they think they fell off the map. That's the technical reasons behind it. Trust it. That's what it is. But this Tormentor is very weak. I'm fed up with him at this point. We've had a 10-minute battle with him. But I'm really getting angry now. I need to get rid of him. I need to get a DPS. I need to get the DPS. When will we get it? Please, I would love to start DPS in the wizard. Please allow me to. Oh, now you're starting to behave, I see. I'm low on special. That's quite good because the crate hasn't come up. That means I'm using quite a bit of special, which is good. That's what we want to be. We don't want to be sitting back too much. I think I've got Radiant there. He's weak. There we go. I'm waiting on that crate. He's at least pushing a bit more. He's easier in this state than the first state. Because his AI changes when shoulder pads are knocked off, you see. So I'm going for his middle chest plate again. He gets weak. Damn. He's still de-aggroing. Why? Damn, you wouldn't like to marry this guy, would you? You wouldn't be able to tie him down to any girl at all. He's going with different tormentor girlfriends. He can't tie down any girl, this guy. He's completely running away every time. Every single time. You can't marry him. You just can't. Right, 8 lights. Traveller of the Lights, 8 gathered. This is again where Heart Shadow comes in. We're going to run around the map, collect the lights, and dunk our 8 lights. Look at this. Hang your heads in shame who think that Heart Shadow's not good. Not only is it very good for survivability and utility, I have also proved to you that it's very good on a damage case. In actual fact, I would go as far to say to you right now, I would rather run Heart Shadow over Wolfsbane. Wolfsbane's a very strong weapon in the game. It's strongish. Right, but you understand what this Heart Shadow is providing. Do you understand that this sword was very useful for old Grandmaster Nightfalls? Pre-Edge of Fate? And those old GMs, by the way, are more difficult than what you have in the port right now. They maybe don't equal Conquest Avalon, but you get the point. And people were soloing GMs with Heart Shadow back then. That's over 6 months ago. I think people associate a memory to when the exotic first came out, and they think Heart Shadow's still weak because it was weak at launch. That was 2-3 years ago, lads. There's been many patches since then. Heart Shadow's been in a good spot for a year. A year, lads. Where you's lot been? It's not... Don't blame the exotic, blame yourself. I don't think Heart Shadow's very strong. Why? You don't think it's strong because you associated a memory from 3 years ago. You need to reevaluate things. You can't just say, well, oh, this exotic's not very good. Yeah, it wasn't good when you got it, but what about now? We're 2025, 3 years on. Same goes for any other exotic. Same goes for other exotics. It's like Finality's Ogre. Same thing with that. Right? It launched poorly. It got a buff, though, and was good a few months after Sundred, and people refused to believe that it was good. Although it was okay. It was all right. But when Edge of Fate buffs happened, it went mega. And a lot of people slept on that Edge of Fate launch for finalities because they were under the assumption that it wasn't that good or it was mid. There was videos saying Finalities Ogre's mid. Although it wasn't. It actually power crept a little bit because they changed some things. Many incremental buffs. After those incremental buffs, it then became a meta. Yeah, it was that close to meta. It wasn't that far away, and now it is meta. It's a lesson to be learned. I'm switching to DPS build. We're coming to DPS phase 1, thank God. Embrace the darkness. Let's get this stuff over with. Where are we at? What are we going to do now? Pick up Relic. We have these statues to destroy. The funny thing about this mission is, no matter whether you're 12-man or solo, the percentage for this is exactly the same, which means I've got it all to destroy. What's that? 2%. That's 2% per statue. That's 50 statues I've got to destroy. Maybe more than 50. Because sometimes it's only 1% gain. 1% or 2% gain, look. So it's like 50 statues or more to destroy here. That's a lot of statues. That's a lot of voices severed. Damn, I'm getting tired. My finger's getting tired doing this. I've got DPS to do yet. I've switched to DPS. Now this fight This whole entire fight that you've been watching so far is a free phase fight no matter what. No matter what damage you do on phase 1 and 2, it doesn't matter. Because phase 3 is unlimited DPS. We've rallied. We've got our ammo. I'm rocking Sleeper, my favourite linear fusion rifle in the game. Got 10% Edge of Fate gear bonus. I've got a Transcendence. I've got a Stasis turret. I'm up here on my own. I shoot the Witness. Stasis turret goes down. Radiant melee or Withering Gaze. One of the two. Withering Gaze. Got Withering Gaze, although we've got Fell Winters. So I don't know why I'm running Withering Gaze Scout. I've got Fell Winters. Right? Fell Winters is 30% debuff. If we hit the melee though. Sometimes the melee doesn't hit. The Arcane Needle, that is. But yet, we're DPSing with Sleeper. Sleeper's chunking. He's a chunker. If we hit our crit properly though. Although, no, saying that, hang on a minute, you get more damage on phase 2 and 3. So just follow along with it. So we're going to go left and right strafe. I'm hip firing Sleeper. This boss will 1 KO you. So look, the attack comes left, I strafe right. The attack comes right, I strafe left. I play top map of this center ring. I'm in the ring, I'm in the squared circle, I'm at the back of the map, strafing left and right. Yes, so as I was saying, this fight is entirely a free phase fight. And you'll get a Traveler's Aid buff. And that actually stacks each time you get another stack. And at times 3 you do much more damage. I'm just saying that phase 1 and phase 2 doesn't need to be immense amount of damage. You're not gonna scrape him. I'm not gonna scrape him on this difficulty. Rinse and repeat now. We're on phase 2. We've learned a lot from phase 1. I get 2 fresh new overloads at the start of the phase, and obviously 2 fresh new tormentors as well on top of that. I'm going to pop a Transcendence here, but the bees are right on top of the overload. I've got to be careful. Now I'm trying mint out here this time instead of Supremacy. Works out that Supremacy was actually still better than mint because Tormentors rely mainly on crit damage, and Mint does do crit damage, yes, but a lot of it's area of effect damage, and we're getting immunes. But yeah, I was just trying it out. It was doing okay. Mint's doing fine, but yeah, Supremacy worked out better for DPS and the 2 cornerstones. I tried something different, and yeah, it wasn't as good. I ended up swapping back to Supremacy, but we're doing good control here. Doing good control of the first Torment. The first Torment is, like I say, a lot easier than the second one for sure. We get to good damage here though, taking off his 2 shoulder pads quickly. It's when he gets enraged. I guess Mint is very good for the right side Tormentor, but not so much for the left one. Yeah. He starts to push. See that AI pattern? We de-aggro straight away. De-aggro from him. Look. He's willing to push. There we go. We don't want him doing this. We are now in danger when he starts to do that. Yeah, look. As soon as we back up there, boom, he's de-aggroed. Left side Torment has shown himself. He's shown himself. I should maybe do a bit of damage to him, but we do want to control this guy on the right because look, he's aggroed again on us. Which we now know how to de-aggro him properly and effectively. He's still in aggro location. He's pushing back. Oh no, he's pushing now. Yep, we cannot have him grab us or suppress us. That would be a death. We was a second away from death. Look at those bees. We do the remaining damage with Mint. It's actually cooking. It's doing pretty good in actual fact there. But yeah, Supremacy I think still a little bit better for it though. Overall. But it doesn't matter either way as long as we obviously stay in the fight. So going Viz here. I'm running out of special as well. We kind of want another crate. We use a Stasis turret plus dive just in case the bees do more damage. So look, yeah, look at the damage. It's not as much as Supremacy. You can see it. But on the run, we are just rolling with it. But I should have probably swapped to a sniper for sure. Do we get Radiant? No, Arcane Nail doesn't track him. Or it didn't stick him. But he is showing himself this time as opposed to last time for sure. Now we've got more hands on the battlefield, so there's more risk going from left. You can see there's a bit more increased risk on here than what phase 1 was, at least. Going to try and do some damage at the tree, but we're getting barraged by all those attacks, so that's no good neither. I can fill up on Transcendence as I make my way through. So yeah, I'm looking at it as on an engagement perspective. At times, it's not the best, right? When we're wanting to sort of overcommit to damage, but we don't want to do that at this stage. We're too far into this run. We're essentially too far into this run at that stage. Pick up another crate here because I got it to pick up. I'm going to go in for my next rotation of damage. Hopefully he behaves. Look, he's TPing again. I was mentioning this. He has no reason to teleport like that. Not one reason. We got transcendent enemies pushing me. Not 100% comfortable with that. I'll get a debuff nade in though. A couple of mint if I can. Look, see. It's just not as good as the sniper, man. It's not as good because, you know, moment to moment. Better just to snipe him. Do you understand? It is. But we tried it out on the run. Thinking that mint would be better. And you would have thought that, you know. Because mint's meta. You would have thought, oh, well, mint would be better to use for these tormentors, and that's just not the case. We can crit them for sure, but like I say, it's just less damage. A lot of bees on the bubble there. I'm going to go left hand side. I've got to be careful of those hands though. I don't want to be caught out by those. I'm going to try and get a stasis turret down. Where's the tormentor? He's left, far left near tree. That's kind of nuts. We get some nice damage in here. So that's alright place to stand. But you can't do too much damage before you got to move again. Yeah, so it's alright. Oh, fresh overload spawns in. So when the tormentor gets about half HP, you get 2 fresh overloads. One left, one right. But it's only the left one that we care about. Because we're done with right now. We've got our right tormentor. So this overload's pushing. We need to deal with him and sort him out. We've seen time and time again how they can just ruin our day and have us mess up on DPS. So I'm just going to go in with Heart Shadow. Like I say, it's clutch that it's overload. The fact that Heart Shadow's overload sword is writing on the stars for me, because that's good, because I was wanting to use Heart Shadow in this, and it's just nice that it's overload. And I can stun an overload Minotaur when he pushes. It's a good thing. So yeah, look, he's completely de-aggroed. He doesn't know where he is, the cornerstone. He doesn't know where he is. He's inflating my run for no reason. Other than his own selfish needs. He's truly a minion of the darkness. Look, overload there. That must be the overload from the other side, I guess. Because we just killed one. We still got Transcendence here. We do a bit more damage with Mint. That's what I wanted, to break the Tormentor. So that he can push a bit more. His AI pattern's going to be a bit more aggressive, which is exactly what I want. At this point, I should swap to Sniper. I think I end up well, I definitely do, right? Shortly after this. A lot of bees on the bubble there. I've got to be careful when jumping up and down out of that bubble. I'm looking to buy my time. As soon as I buy my time, look, he's back and forth. We don't know which way he is. We don't know what he wants. This fella will never get marriage. That particular cornerstone will never seek his true love. He's back and forth constantly with everybody he sees. You don't know. We don't know what he wants. I don't know what he wants. I just want to get to DPS. That's all I want, son. Let me get to DPS. Look, now we're getting a bit of good damage in here. Not bad. I'll fill up my Transcendent here because I'm here. I'm thinking them Centurions might knock me off map and come up here though. I was evaluating risk. Yeah, that's not worth it. See that engagement? It maybe looks alright and safe, but it's not. I can foresee what's going to happen there. Pop Transcendence, I get booped off the map by one of those Centurions. No good. We re-evaluate. Overload pushes. We need to get rid of this guy as well. But that we are looking at the health pool of the Tormentor though. But yeah, for sure, we want to get rid of this Overload. I'm going to put some damage in here while I can, while the Tormentor behaves himself. Overload has pushed in the bubble, so it is time to take care of him though, for sure. Just get rid of him. Get a Stacy's turret, maybe it's worse turreting him. Maybe that de-aggroes him further. Maybe. But yeah, I should be swapping to Supremacy. I haven't. I do for next phase. I realise after this, Supremacy is just better for this. It's just a better weapon for this. For what we want to do. All we're wanting to do is something very niche. Which is go invis damage. Go invis damage on a Tormentor, crit damage. That's what we want. He can push me here. So I'm thinking, I'm evaluating risk. He could easily push me off map. So I'm thinking tree's no good for DPS. I've got a slack Transcendence Nade. I get weak here, look. Very, very weak. This is why I'm playing in a particular way. Because I know that we're seconds away from death at any point, or can be. It's overcommitment. It's overcommitment. It can be overcommitment. Half the time I'm undercommitting, if you notice. If you know what overcommitment and undercommitment means in the context of D2, you'll know what I'm on about. At times I am undercommitting. But at times it's, we're doing the right choices. He's weak now, though. He's very weak. I just wish he would just push. If he just pushed, this would have been done minutes ago, this. Yeah, and we can't stand there all day. Bees are coming. So yeah, look, you can see the issue with this. I hate that guy on the left. We don't like him at all. Worst Tormentor of the week. He wins. Congratulations. The worst Tormentor I've faced this week. He wins the award. He was going for it hard. He's won. He's got the title. We go invis here. We get half HP or less. I'm thinking about... yeah, there we go. I realise it's no good. It's just no good with Mint for that. We're not getting the crit damage because his belly is the crit. Everything else on his body is immune. Look, as soon as we pop on Supremacy, boom, melt, melt, melt. Almost kill him right away. So yeah, Sniper was overwhelmingly the better player. He's there. Can we have kinetic tremors to kill him? Maybe, maybe not. He's still alive. Another Overload, damn it. This is it. He's got a minion. He's got an army of Overloads, man. Bees spawn on my location. Let's just get this dealt with. Got to be mindful of that hand. There we go. Finally, for God's sake. Get rid of the second Minotaur. Second Tormentor, sorry. And now we can start phase 2. Got to pick up the Wells of Light. So we need 8 wells. That's exactly what I'm doing here. And we're just rinsing and repeating from here. Picking up all the 8 wells. But it's nice to go back into mid to get that DR. I think what I'm going to do now is for phase 3 Tormentor and the rest of this, I'm going to play just some foul shape music and then repeat commentary at the end for the fun times. For the phase 3 DPS times. Because you get the picture of what we're doing now. Hard Shadow Invis, pick up the Wells of Light, DPS Witness, rinse and repeat with the Tormentors, the cornerstones, snipe them down, use Hard Shadow for survivability, and then we can get a DPS. So yeah, I'm just going to have some foul shape music play till the final phase of DPS, and I'll commentate that. Okay, so we finally make it to phase 3. Now it's time for fun times. Look at these. Pay close attention to the health pool of the witness. We're going in with sleeper plus mint retrograde damage. We can test all sorts of damage rotations on him. There's all sorts of things I could have done here. We now have the Traveller Aid times 3 buff, so we'll do much more damage to the witness. And just watch how this plays out. So we'll destroy the rings on the witness. There we go. Turret goes in. Transcendence pop. Get a debuff on the boss. Sleeper comes out. Look at the chunk. 1828. Look at the chunks. Boss strafes left. Attack coming right. Strafe left. Another debuff. 2,200. Nice chunks. Then we whip out a bit of elemental honing times 4 mint. Boss attacks right. I strafe then right after that. And then another attack left. We're going to do our damage here. But look at the chunks we're doing here. But bear in mind, we're running out of ammo and the boss still has what? Way more than half HP. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do, lads? What will we ever do now to DPS? DPS phase will not end and will be in a infinite time loop at this stage. Sleeper's chunking though, he chunk. So now we need to think about exit point. There is a possible chance of death when we jump off the map. So like, what I mean is if the boss does an attack, if the witness does an attack as I jump up or jump down, we will die to that. I don't want that happening. So we need to be very mindful. Crate is not in middle. We do not have heavy ammo crate. We're having to rely on backup DPS, outbreak perfected. That's what I just go with. There's other things I could have done. Dead Man's Tail. Any backup DPS options. But I just went with outbreak because it reloads itself. Rewind, reloads itself, and we can hip fire it and dodge these attacks. See, if you can get a weapon that can hip fire with your crit, that is overwhelmingly very easy for you to outstrafe the witness's attacks. Look at that though with the damage. We're doing all right. It's that bar's chunking. He's chunking. And we're going to do outbreak damage until we get a crate back in middle. So there we go. We're solo DPS and the witness. Now we can talk a little bit about you, right? And be very, casual about it. Oh, damn, Stacy's turret falls off the map. So we can talk about you while I solo DPS this the witness boss for 7 minutes or whatever. So let's talk about you and what you're having for tea. Are you having a lasagna? Is that what you're cooking tonight? Maybe you can invite me round, or maybe you can invite me round into your yard and I can watch your family eat dinner or something. Or I just keep continuing DPS and the witness. Which one is it? I watch you eat dinner or you watch me DPS the witness. We're kind of watching him eat dinner now. We've got another crate. We're filled back up on sleeper. Look at the death. Look at the death trigger. Nearly died there. We don't want to jump up as the boss does an attack. That's a wipe. So there we go. We're going in damage. 2,284. It's chunking. Look at the chunks now. Witness is getting chunked now. We're chunking now. Let's just see what damage we do. Well, we're below half HP. Coming down to a third. Radiant left hand side. We've got that. We've obviously got debuff. We'd fell winter. But yeah, sleeper, that's chunking that. That's a 12-man boss that on Elf Pool. Imagine 12 sleepers on this boss. If you had 12 players that could survive and 12 players use sleeper, man. Crazy damage. Very good damage. We could have used other things. New Land Beyond, Cloud Strike, Supremacy with a linear fusion, like a legendary fusion. All sorts of different things we could have used, right? Could have used. At this point, you're just having fun during DPS. That's what we're having now, right now, okay? No ammo crate in middle. I need to go back to backup DPS yet again. We'll yet again wait for this boss's attack. We don't want to be taking risks. Damn, how much more DPS time is there? 4 minutes next. Can't be 4 minutes more of DPS, for sure. Can't be. Yet again, hip fire with outbreak. I've mastered the movement down. Look, we get close there. Get close there so you can be lazy with your footing and get caught by that attack. And it does one-shot. The witness will one-shot you on this difficulty, 100%. So we are a moment's notice from wipe even. So it's not over, is what I'm explaining to you. It's not completely free. I need to be concentrating. Can't switch off. Can't switch off. Is the brick there? No, it isn't. It's about to be, though. I reckon one brick will do this. One full rotation of Sleeper plus Mint will do it. Yeah, we've got it. Yeah, we was using Fellwinter. So we get a 30% debuff on Arcane Needle hit. If the needle hits. See, sometimes it doesn't track the witness properly and tracks her head. And not her chest. That's the thing. We need to wait for them attacks. Look, they're dangerous, man. That's it. Attack's done. Transcendence goes in. Stacy's turret. Debuff, Radiant. Should be chunking more than that. Attack comes right. I go to the right for the left attack. Another debuff. Facet Dominance. Yeah, we're doing a little bit. We're doing 2k per crit. Look at the chunks. We're close. One brick did do it. One heavy brick plus Mint. Just about sent him. And there we go. There he is. He's sent. Now we have to do the damn final shield mechanic. Let's time this. Let's play a little bit of a mini game. Call to Ghost. I'm gonna keep an eye on my timestamps and see how long this takes. We'll time it. I'm gonna time it from when I super. Right. Let's see. Surgeon Light. Guardians make their own fate. I make my own fate. We know that we do. Super goes in 35 timestamp. Right. Keeping an eye on it. Let's see how long this super takes. Okay. Let's just see it. I'll notify you at 30 seconds. Okay, we're approaching 30 seconds. We're a third down on the shield almost. Okay, let's see. Now it's 30 seconds around about now. That's 30 seconds above half HP on shield. So what's this going to take then? A minute? It's going to take longer than a minute, this. I'll notify you when a minute comes up. We're coming to that. Shield is less than half HP. Less than half HP. I better get some Ascendant Shards for this, tell you. A lot of work, a lot of trouble. I better get a God Rolled Ergo Sum. Lest I'll be mad about it. There we go. That's 60 seconds. 60 seconds on the shield. That's 60 seconds and 10 seconds. That's 1 minute 10. That's 1 minute 10. So it's about 1 minute 20 seconds to take down the Witness's Overshield when you're solo in the Grandmaster EXCISION activity. There we go. Shield goes down. Then there's the HP. Then what was that health bar bull situation there? It went up and then down. But there you go. So that's a solo GM on the EXCISION, the 12-man activity. I know it's a long video. Appreciate it. But hope you enjoy. Thank you.